You know, I kind of wonder if my life would be more productive if I got banned from Twitter. Because I'm not going to lie. I've been on Twitter since, I think, 2009. And I'm looking over it, and I'm like, I can't deny that Twitter has had a solid impact on my career. But Twitter, at this moment in time, is not a platform that is used by the demographic, by and large, that technically I'm, going to get the most activity out of. That belongs to Instagram and TikTok. So if I got kicked off of Twitter, I would be forced to promote myself and my business and the stream and everything like that through Instagram. So all of my attention would be dedicated to that platform. And I would probably grow at a more significant rate, especially because Twitter right now has me shadow banned to hell and back. Until Elon Musk takes over, I mean, I've got like 40, what am I at right now as far as Twitter followers go? I am at 44.2K. And for 3 years, I stayed around 40. I no matter who followed me, like, I would lose followers, right? So I would stay even the entire time. So I had... Oh my god, will you go over? Thank you. I have to wonder what would happen if I did suddenly just get banned from Twitter or suspended for a week. I would have to focus... I mean, like, I would probably be on a platform where I'm not shadow banned, obviously. So my message would get out even more, Until Elon Musk takes over, like, completely and totally, and is able to dictate who does and does not get shadow banned or banned from the platform at all, Twitter is probably not the best place for me to operate. I've been realizing this over the past week. You didn't know or cared to know who Ellen Page. Well, you know what? You know who Ellen Page? Ellen Page was in Juno, and I thought that movie was kind of interesting. It was actually a weirdly pro-life movie in my thought processes. But she really kind of got my attention when she decided to show up. Y'all probably don't remember this. I don't think many people do. She showed up at like this barbecue, where Ted Cruz was currently cooking or something, and she decided to get into an argument with Ted Cruz. And Ted Cruz, like, you don't debate with Ted Cruz unless you're willing to lose, in front of a lot of people. So she decides to go to Ted Cruz and start a debate. Ted Cruz crushes her, and she walks away. And the headlines, it really was like a Rorschach test, actually. I mean, if you were pro Ted Cruz, then Ted Cruz completely dominated Ellen Page. If you were pro Ellen Page, then Ellen Page won the debate. But I remember that happening, and I was just thinking, like, okay, so, like, even just the way she was talking then, I was like, this woman is overdramatic. Very overdramatic. And then later on, she appeared on a late night TV. I can't remember if it was Jimmy Kimmel or Fallon or whatever. I don't care anymore. They're all the same to me. And she started doing that crying thing, on television. And I was like, okay. Confirmed. She's an overdramatic person. I'm going to make a prediction about Ellen Page. I think that she is a deeply unhappy person. I think that she is a little kooky in the head. And I expect to see something about how she is being checked into a mental hospital or getting some sort of help because she's feeling suicidal. I expect that to happen within a year. I expect that to happen within a year. And here's the thing. They're going to blame it. They're not going to blame it on her transgenderism or the fact that she's, chopped up her own body. They're going to blame it on us. They're going to say it's our fault that she feels that way. You watch. You retweeted a bunch of stuff and didn't get banned. I think it was a very It was a targeted banning. They look for reasons to ban people, certain people. Jordan Peterson is, in the eyes of the lunatics who currently work at Twitter, he is one of the chief devils. And they were looking for a reason to ban him. And then Dave Rubin, too. Dave Rubin is super dangerous. He's a gay man and a conservative? Oh my god, that can't exist. He's out. Twitter for me is just for information and fun. I have a lot of fun on Twitter. I love to troll the left. I do. You know? And I love to just... I don't know. It's like a release for me. But it's not... I wouldn't say it's exactly helping me at this point in time in my business ventures. Superhero button meme. Twitter is the sweating superhero. Button 1 ban them from politics, but they leave to a site where they aren't shadow banned. Button 2, shadow banned, but speaking freely. I'm currently button 2. That's what they've got me on. They've had me on that since Gamergate. Don't know. Please enlighten us. I just can't see the point. I hate bumper sticker politics, and Twitter doesn't have room for anything more. You're not wrong in a way, but also, I will say this. It is a great source of information. I have gotten... Like, you know, I'm obviously not the smartest person in the room, and there are a lot of very smart people on Twitter. A lot of them. And they bring up very good points that I get to sit and think about, you know? And I will say it's not all bad. It's not all bad. Twitter's not all bad. But the people who are currently running it are all bad. So it's not living up to the potential that it should be. Elon Musk is right. It is the de facto town square. It is. And it is being controlled by lunatic radicals at the moment. Which is why they would ban Jordan B. Peterson, Johnny B. Good, for stating a fact. And then Dave Rubin, they would ban Dave Rubin for just saying that Jordan Peterson was banned for a fact. These people are out of their minds. I kind of wonder, though, if the people who run Twitter at the moment are kind of going through their final hurrah phase. They know... It's like an animal backed into a corner. They know that they're about to get murdered. Absolutely murdered. In a business sense. YouTube. And so they're lashing out like animals backed into a corner. They're just banning... That's what they look and sound like. What's up, Pickled Squirrel? Same here, Animal, for info and fun. Misspoke a whopping 257. Watch out, Brandon, I'm gunning for you. I've just been stuck in the same number. Like, I was talking to a guy from TPUSA. He helps run it, and he's like, what's your follower count on Twitter? And I was like 40, 44, 43K. And he's like, nah, dude, we need to get you over 100K. And I was like... I would be. I would be if it wasn't for the fact that Twitter has legitimately, actively worked against my account. I have posted on the POTUS feed before. Just really careful of what I write. Yeah. They're looking for a reason. They're looking for a reason. But, I mean, like, you know, you can say something that somebody else got banned for. And the reason that they banned the other person and not you is because that other person was someone that they had been looking for a reason to ban for some time. It doesn't make any sense until you look at it through that lens. They were looking for an excuse. Jordan Peterson is one of those people that they desperately wanted to ban. From my limited experience, I know there's at least one Sasquatch posting there. One Sasquatch? A blurry animal? A blurry animal, man? Speaking of Twitter, I saw this and I wanted to lead off with it. Today we're going to be talking about the Democrat Civil War that is currently kicking off. It has been in motion for a little while. I would say that AOC really... I think the real Civil War kicked off when AOC arrived on the scene. And it split the party in two. You had the establishment Democrats, and then you had, like, the radical left Democrats. You know, you had the Democrats who wanted the status quo. You had the Democrats who want to shake it up. And neither of them are good. Neither of them are good, right? But one is threatening the power of the other. And so they are going, it was inevitable that they would start fighting with each other. This is going to spill over. 110% this was going to spill over into the voting base. You cannot, at this point in time, say something that is even common sense without one side or the other getting mad at you. If you belong to one side or the other, you will inevitably say something that will get you canceled. Or at least attacked. At the very least. So it's pretty fun to watch. Eric Swalwell is one such guy. He kicked it off, I think. He said something that I thought was actually kind of common sense for Eric Swalwell. But before we get into that, I have to show you guys this because it was probably one of... I had no idea that this happened. I don't know what you guys think of Lauren Boebert. But I seriously, this was a knock out of the park moment for Lauren. All right, for Congresswoman Boebert. This is something that Eric Swalwell tweeted. He said in a tweet that it's time that we start drawing straight lines. And he was trying to equate Lauren Boebert, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who is holding this gun, okay, to the Highland Park shooter. For those of you who don't know, the Highland Park shooter is a guy who, on July 4th, decided he wanted to shoot up a parade. He wants to equate them, as in, these two are the same people, according to Eric Swalwell. Right? If you think that's ridiculous, it's because it is. That is a stupid thing to say. Stupid thing to say. Eric Swalwell, in my honest opinion, has always represented like a mannequin, a Democrat mannequin. Have y'all ever watched Parks and Rec? If you ever watch Parks and Rec, there's this scene, like it was like in the later seasons, where they're working on a political campaign or something for this guy. And the politician, he is like an empty shell of a man. It's not like he's depressed or anything, but like he walks and talks like an automaton. Right? He is plastic. He walks around and he's like, hello, thank you for being here. Da, da, da. And then at one point in time, he just goes into another room, sits down behind a desk, and then just stares ahead like, Monty Seltz, thank you so much for the sub. He just stares ahead and doesn't do anything. And people are looking at him like, what? You know, that to me is Eric Swalwell. He is an automaton. He is not a real person. Like, there's something so plastic. He's like a Ken doll. All right, there's something so plastic about him. Even down to the way he smiles. It's like dead-eyed with the, you know. So anyway, stupid thing for Swalwell to say. Lauren Boebert says, "Yeah, let's draw straight lines." How's Fang Fang these days? Checkmate. There's no, I mean, for those of you who don't know what this is, for those of you who might be a little lost on what Boebert's talking about here, this is Eric Swalwell. Democrat, consummate Democrat. He says anything that, you know, Democrats want him to say. He is an empty shell. He just, you know, if they say something, or like if there's a talking point that he needs to spit out, then Eric Swalwell will say that thing. This is a Chinese spy. Eric Swalwell was doing the no pants dance with the Chinese spy. By the way, Eric Swalwell still sits on the National Security Committee. I don't know if you knew that. She works for this guy. This guy, you guys can't see. Xi Jinping, the leader of communist China. If you want to draw a straight line, whoop. Solid work. Solid work from Boebert. That was a knockout of the park. Knock out of the park response. I don't know what you think about Lauren. By the way, I love the fact that he tried to come back. Posted without comment. What? That's not a comeback. So what? So what? She's holding a gun. What does that prove? Are you trying to accuse Lauren Boebert of shooting somebody, of being in league with the Highland Park shooter, or any shooter for that matter? Can you tell me what this is supposed to signify? Is she supposed to be ashamed for holding a big gun? Somebody help me out. I'm a little confused what he was trying to get at here. Because it seems to me that, I mean, that's pretty badass. I wish I had that gun. She was like, did Fang Fang block you on WeChat? You can't date me. Dude. Swalwell stepped into a ring with someone who punches at a higher weight than him intellectually. You can't, also morally, you cannot equate holding a big gun to sleeping with a Chinese spy. The fact that Eric Swalwell still has a job, much less a seat, on a committee that handles national security blows my ever-loving mind. Blows my mind. But I will hand it to Swalwell. In this case, I will hand it to Swalwell. He said something that I think is... I don't agree with him, per se. But I feel like this is the most common sense thing he's ever said. I'll talk about it here in a second. She has better hair. Eric Swalwell is again, I mean, you can style, he's a Ken doll. You can style his hair any way you want to, it's fine. He won't know the difference. Is sweeping through the Highland Park shooter under the rug. Yeah. Grave tragedy. Yeah, I thought about doing the show around the Highland Park tragedy, but I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I'm so sick and tired of talking about this because it just makes me mad. Not, the thing that makes me mad about it is the fact that no matter what the facts are, no matter the timing, the framing, no matter what it is, the left is always trying to utilize a shooting, the death of innocent Americans, as a way to push gun control, as a way to make it political, to be able to point at their political opponents and make them guilty of everything under the sun. I am so sick and tired of talking about it. These people are just ghouls. And it makes me mad to even discuss it. Okay? Especially like the Uvalde shooting, that was... The way that they acted after the Uvalde shooting was unbelievable. Beto O'Rourke, dear God. I mean, it really highlighted to me just how much of a piece of shit this guy is. Crap, sorry. Sorry, I said a cussy. That's how much it makes me mad, this guy. Got paid in the lead. I like that, Andrew. He got paid in the lead. Only straight line for Swalwell should be straight to the firing. Ooh, not gonna say that. Maybe it was him moving his plastic straight to the firing of his job. Maybe it was him moving his plastic leg instead of farting. I forgot he did that. I forgot he farted on live TV. Oh God, may I never have to go through that. Does he have IBS? Maybe he does. Poor guy. I don't ever want that to be. If I stream long enough over the course of some time, it will happen to me. I'm just gonna rip a loud one on accident. Maybe it was him moving his I already read that. Oh, and he is on the Intelligence Committee. Intelligence Committee, correct. Yeah. Shy boy in LA. Intelligence Committee is an oxymoron. You know what a lot of these committees, now that you say that, Shy, a lot of these committees that are currently in our government remind me of nothing but stages for politicians to perform on. They're not actually there to get to the bottom of anything or do anything significant. They're there for politicians to show off for the cameras, to get that little 1 minute, 2 minute clip and put it up on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. And it is a way for them to campaign out of campaign season. That's what these committees are for. We need to get our money back from U.S. robotics. The Swalwell model is defective. He's like a Westworld host gone wrong. Or he's not convincing enough. I have stuffed squirrel that punches at a higher intellectual level than Swalwell. I believe that. There's the California voter for you. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the fact that he's still in power, it just shows you that if you go to California and you just repeat leftist lines, you could probably win. It doesn't even matter. You don't have to have any thought of your own. Just repeat, just regurgitate leftist talking points, and you will be elected. Thank you for not talking about it. It's been done to death. Zero puns intended. Yeah, I'm just over it, man. Uvalde is gone from the media as well. Well, I mean, Uvalde ran its course for them. You know, I mean, it's the mainstream media, the Democrats, the activists, they couldn't take it any further than where they did, so it's useless now. Now it's just dropped. There's really no more use to talk about it. Just like this, the Highland Park shooting will be dropped once it runs its course. Once it becomes not as politically viable, it's gone. Don't worry about it. You want to know how much the left actually cares about shootings? The black community in Chicago gets absolutely murdered all the time. They don't want to talk about that. That's how much they care about shootings. They have no right to talk about any shooting until they care about all shootings. But it's only specific shootings that they actually care about. Only specific murders, only specific hate crimes that they want to talk about. I have no question in my mind that this nation is suffering from a sickness. None. But I really do think that the sickness does not have something to do, obviously, with inanimate objects. I think a lot of our sickness has something to do with the fact that the way that we cover things in our media is sad. It's sad. And it's stressful. The importance of things that we put, or the importance that we put on things that should not be as important, I think can help drive a man crazy. I think detaching from politics from time to time, and from time to time, I mean like probably once a week. During the weekend, I'd shut it off. That's what I do. I don't look at it, except for randomly whenever I just get the urge. But I mean, like, just you got to walk away at some point in time, because the media is not the real world. It is looking at the world through the wrong end of the telescope. That's the gods. That's what I've discovered after years and years and years of doing this job. I think it's important to know the things that are happening in this nation and around your area. Don't get me wrong, but understand that when the media wants to make a really, really, really big deal out of something, CNN is very, very good with at this. Whenever they want to make a really big deal out of something, they will bring in experts and they will just cover all the angles. They will cover the political angle, the cultural, and they'll just keep it going. They are going to make that blood on the ground last for as long as possible. Never let a crisis go to waste. At least she can handle a big... Fired from his job. That's the ticket. You shut it off on weekends until annoying mods of yours send you memes to your Discord and Twitter. I know, those mods are so annoying. So annoying. What is their deal? Swalwell said this, and I thought it was very interesting. Please stop blaming the NRA for mass shootings. Very interesting thing to say from Eric Swalwell. The NRA may fund candidates, but the NRA does not have a vote in Congress. Interesting. Elected Republican members of Congress do. So far, everything that he has said is absolutely factual. Are they and they are keep voting against our kids and voting for their killers. Over dramatic, I would say. But you know what? That's the left. Here comes the left. They did not like the fact that Swalwell said this. One person in particular was Sarah Kendzior. Oh, I'm blocked, by the way, from Sarah Kendzior, the New York Times bestselling author. Did I say or do anything? I don't know. I have been pre-blocked by a lot of people. There is a whole lot of people out there who have already had me blocked for some time. And it turns out that I'm on a block list that was circulated around for leftists like years ago. So I was one of those people who got shut off. Sarah apparently is not a fan of what he said. Awful take. The NRA is a terrorist organization. It also is a dark money engine to some of the most dangerous people in this country, including U.S. officials. Just sound that red alert with all the scary words. And is also tied to foreign agents. You have a domestic and national security crisis on your hands. You cannot omit them. First off, let me just say this. Whether you love or hate the NRA, and many conservatives hate the NRA, and that's perfectly understandable. The NRA has done some very shady, nonsensical stuff, abused people's money. I get it, okay? But what they aren't is a terrorist organization. They're not a terrorist organization. Let's face facts. The NRA is a imperfect organization. They have made decisions and said things that I'm not a fan of. They've blamed video games for mass shootings in the past, which I thought was kind of short-sighted. Not kind of, very. They have actually backed some gun control laws that I did not find at all good. But a terrorist organization? No. The amount of people that NRA has killed is 0. They have killed 0 people. They are still, to this day, a solid resource when it comes to facts about firearms and gun control laws. They still are. They are an excellent lobbying firm when it comes to promoting Second Amendment rights in many regards. You can admit both. But what they aren't is a terrorist organization. They never have been. The NRA as a terrorist organization is something that the leftist says whenever they are trying to use sensationalism to drive their point home. It's an old leftist tactic, and one we've talked about on this stream many times. It's theatrics. The sensationalist message shocks people into belief. That's pretty much what it is. A dark money engine. I don't know why they call it a dark money engine. They're pretty open about where their cash goes. Most of the time. A lot of the time, the place where they're most dishonest about where their money goes is whenever it goes into the pockets of the people who run it. This resulted in a back and forth between Swalwell and Kendzior. Of course, they're awful, but if every take leads with blaming the NRA, when we vote in November, we won't know the actual names of who is voting against our kids. Again, sensationalist thing to say, but Swalwell is actually making some sense here. Tactically, he is making some sense. And he's trying to make people understand. You can blame a boogeyman all day long, but at the end of the day, it's the person who is taking the boogeyman's money that you need to go after. You don't know who these people are because you're just focused on the boogeyman. Tactically, it's a sound strategy. Despite the fact that, who is voting against our kids is a very, very sensationalist thing to say. Republicans aren't voting against. Didn't Republicans just celebrate the fact that they saved a bunch of kids' lives? I mean, let's think hard about that. What people will remember is you saying, "Please stop blaming the NRA for mass shootings." See, Sarah, this is very interesting, and I'm showing you guys this because I want to point something out. They're proving my point. What people will remember is you saying, "Please stop blaming the NRA for a mass shooting," but I suspect you'll find out the hard way. You know full well what the NRA is. I could quote you on it, but it just humiliate you more. Hold dark money terrorist actors accountable. They go back and forth like this for a while. Why did I want to show you this? Because I think it's very interesting that you have two different takes here. Both of them are sensationalists. Both of them are trying to sensationalize over the other. One of them is actually saying something that is tactically sound. The other is focusing on a line that evokes emotion. What people will remember is you saying, "Please stop blaming the NRA for mass shootings." Here's the thing. Between the two of these people, who do you think the left is going to listen to more? Between the two of them, who do you think is actually going to have more ears pointed in their direction? It's going to be Sarah. It's going to be Sarah. Right now, the Democrat Party operates more off of emotion than it does sense. But it's the radical party, part of the party of the Democrat Party, operates off of emotion. It operates off of tidbits of information, not the big picture. Whatever is right in front of you and makes you feel the most is the thing that is going to make you decide who you vote for, what you believe, what your actions are going to be. Sarah is, in this case, going to have more of an upper hand against Swalwell in the arguments. It's very interesting to me that they have gotten to this point, the Democrat Party. But if anybody is to be blamed for this, it's not people like AOC. AOC is a byproduct of something that the Democrats created. AOC is the bed that Democrats made. They had taught over the course of decades Democrat voters and young people, college students, activists, media figures to resort to the most sensationalist thing that they possibly could in order to convince people that the world is falling apart because of their opponents, that people are dying because of their opponents, that the future will never be secure, that people, all of the wars, everything, all of this stuff is the fault of their opponents. It is the fault of their rights. It is the fault of their Christian beliefs. It is the fault of the Bill of Rights. It is the fault of the Founding Fathers. This is the fault of you, America, the middle America. It's your fault. They were trained to believe that through sensationalism. People like Eric Swalwell, you can see it because he's sensationalizing too. People like Eric Swalwell, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, Barack Obama, all of these people created this radical left that relies purely on emotion and does not, because for a long time, Democrats did not want you looking at the facts. They just wanted you to feel it. And now look at them. Now look at them. Now these people who know nothing but to feel it cannot hear the Democrats whenever they try to talk tactical sense. They are eating each other alive now because the Democrats fed this beast until it was so big that they could hardly control it. Eric Swalwell has nothing, nothing but a bad time ahead of him. Because he helped create, he and his types created people like Sarah Kendzior, like AOC, like The Squad with Ilhan Omar. They created these people. I mean, what do they expect? What do they expect was going to happen? It's not just politics either. This is hysterical. I didn't even see this coming. I didn't see this coming at all. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. We're going to talk about that. New cop show coming back to A&E. Live PD from, oh, good. Good, I'm glad to hear that. That Red is a jerk. You're blocked. Eric tried using logic on an illogical person. Yes. Again, though, logic is not accepted in the Democrat Party anymore. It does not. What is accepted? You could tell a blatant, flat-out lie, but so long as you tell it in such a way that it evokes emotion, the radical left will buy it. They will buy it hook, line, and sinker. They will repeat it to others. They will get mad at other people for not repeating it themselves. They will go on cancel culture missions over a lie. Regressive blocking. The intellectual equivalent of fingers in the ears. La 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 la. I can't hear you. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Alec Baldwin is still walking around free after killing his director. Yeah, that is true. I'm married. Everything is my fault. Bro, I know how that feel. I know how that feel. These people are now probably legally insane. They created this monster and it is going to gobble them up. Yes, Amtrue. They like this is a very interesting time for the Democrat Party. Only one side can come out a victor here. There's no getting along. There is no coming to the center with these people. They cannot, because one side is so radically charged that it is nerf or nothing, man. Okay, they have to take over by the end of it, or else their side disappears. I think that they are probably going to end up losing ultimately, to be honest with you, and you're kind of seeing it unravel for them right now as it is. But the damage that they have done to themselves, the Democrats, the damage that they have done to themselves by creating these people is going to be felt for years to come. This is what happens when you make a deal with the devil. At some point in time, the payment comes due. Now the payment is due. Now that these people, these blind reactionaries are on the scene, now Democrats have to answer to them. It's funny. It's honest to God, I think it's funny. And they probably, Amtrue, you said they're legally insane. I think that if you were to go back to like the 1980s and talk to 1980s Democrat voters back then and have them speak to the Democrats of today, the difference would be night and day. I honest to God think that you would think that the Democrat voter of the 1980s was a staunch Republican by the way that they talk. It's pretty incredible to look at when you really think about it. But the problem is that it's self-replicating to an extent. Yeah. No, it's true. It does work for me, John. Saves me the time. Oh my gosh. This next part is hysterical. Absolutely hysterical to me. I think that if you were to ask me, of a list of people who would probably speak up against the new radical left, who would it be? I would not have said Bette Midler. I would not have said Macy Gray. I would not have said these people. But here they are. This is from Nicarama. By the way, everybody, everything I'm about to talk about is on redstate.com right now. Go check it out. Please sign up for the VIP program. Use promo code MORSE on sign up. Gives you a discount. Really helps us out. Also, if you haven't, like the stream. Like the stream. Really helps us out. As we reported, Bette Midler set the internet on fire with her tweet about trying to phase out the term woman. She tweeted this: "Women of the world, we are being stripped of our rights over our bodies." No, you're not. "Our lives and even of our name." I don't know what you're talking about there. "They don't call us women anymore. They call us birthing people." Uh-oh. Or menstruators. Uh-oh. And even, quote, "people with vaginas." No. Don't let them erase you. Every human on earth owes you. Negative. I don't owe you anything. But it's very interesting that she couched this insanity with actual outrage about where it needs to be pointed. It's like Bette Midler is slowly but surely figuring it out. She was immediately attacked by those on the left as anti-transgender and called a TERF, trans-exclusionary radical feminist. But what was particularly funny about Midler's tweet was that she didn't seem to understand that it's her side, the folks on the left, who are pushing those terms that erase women. The very people that she's constantly supporting in her extreme tweets are the ones pushing the terms like birthing people. That's leftists like Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Rep. Cori Bush using those terms. Again, do y'all see the pattern? They created these monsters. They created these monsters, and now these monsters are coming back and they're biting them in the ass. That greatly amused a lot of conservatives on Twitter. To whoever hacked Bette Midler's Twitter to suggest that women could be defined, did you know that you're my hero? Solid. Bette Midler mistaking woke rhetoric for dehumanizing conservative misogyny could be my favorite thing that's ever happened on Twitter. But while Midler got a lot of reaction from both sides of the aisle of her tweet, perhaps one of the reactions that said it all was from Twitter itself, with its description of the trending topic. Criticizing inclusive language around bodies is quite the phrase. Whenever something trends on Twitter, Twitter tries to give you a very brief summary of why it's trending. And of course, that summary is taken from a leftist point of view. So you've got Twitter saying that Bette Midler was criticizing inclusive language. Actor Bette Midler shares a tweet directed at women, criticizing inclusive language around bodies. Inclusive language around bodies? What does that even mean? The language she's criticizing is inclusive of all kinds of terms, except the term that defines who can get pregnant: women. Nick brings up a very good point. There's nothing really inclusive about these terms that the left is throwing out here. It's actually excluding women, the people who are actually the sex, the people who give birth, who menstruate, who has the vagina. That is a total exclusion of women. This is not inclusive. If you're trying to include anything else but a woman from those descriptors, then you're lying. You have no grasp on reality. Twitter just went down the rabbit hole into bodies because, like Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, God, I hate saying that, they don't want to get into defining women. Their description is providing that the very point that Midler was making, that even Twitter doesn't want to go down that road and instead settles on bodies rather than getting into it. So, rather than truly defining things, they run in the opposite direction, using the least detailed amorphous term when trying to describe the terms Midler was talking about. The leftist terms not only seek to avoid defining women, they also reduce people to body parts, which denies their humanity. How inclusive is this? Solid point from Nick. Solid point. You are reduced down to your body parts. God, if I was a woman in today's day and age, I would be furious. Because I'm effectively being pushed out of my own category by leftists in the mainstream media. There are no women anymore. I feel like a woman. That's now a sexist thing to say. Or not sexist, sorry. An uninclusive thing to say. It's now transphobic to sing songs about being a woman. This is, it's not inclusive if you're pushing if you're pushing out people who actually are there and are the people defined by the descriptors. It's not inclusive at all. It's exclusive. And I want to say this, it is only inclusive to a certain group. Only inclusive to a certain group. This is only inclusive to transgender people who describe themselves as being one thing when they're actually another. A woman can't say that they're a woman now. But for some reason, a transgender person can say that they're a woman. That's not apparently transphobic. Do y'all see the pattern that's happening right now? Transgenderism has become such a sacred cow in today's society that they can make rules no matter how asinine these rules actually are. No matter how much in defiance of reality they actually are, they can say whatever they want, and it is considered the gospel truth by the mainstream culture. A woman cannot say, especially if you're a white woman, you cannot say certain things about yourself without attracting the ire, the wrath of the mainstream culture, which is currently obeying everything that the transgender community is saying. Adele, the other day, this was months ago, Adele said on stage, "I love being a woman," and she was attacked for it. Attacked for saying, "I love being a woman." That's the kind of time that we live in right now. She can't say that she's a woman. That's apparently transphobic. And yet here we have Bette Midler. We have J.K. Rowling, who, by the way, I want to remind everybody that she is a rabid leftist too. Okay? You have Macy Gray? Is it Marcy? I can't remember her. She's also out here saying things in defiance of this message. You already have a bunch of conservative women who are pushing against it, but now you have leftist women starting to catch on that, hey, something is... I'm losing my agency here. It is a cultural split that you now see forming right down the middle. You have the women who are now being disenfranchised and pushed aside so that this new narrative can flourish. You even have things like the LGBT flag getting pushed out. Yeah, by the way, I found out today. I was kind of going through and trying to find the new LGBT flag with all that stuff included on it. You know, you can actually see it in the thumbnail for this stream. It's not called the LGBT flag anymore. Just the typical rainbow flag, because now it's got like the triangle coming in. And now there's like another one that has another triangle coming in from both sides. And it includes all this stuff, all these colors. And now the LGBT part of the flag is actually like minuscule compared to all this other stuff. They were pushed out. They're getting pushed out. By the way, it's not called an LGBT flag anymore. Now it's called the Progress Pride flag. It's no longer LGBT flag. It's the Progress Pride flag. Hysterical. They're eating their own alive, guys. They're turning on each other. One after the other. There's no group is safe. No matter how deep into the protective umbrella, no matter how big of a sacred cow you are, at some point in time, you're going to get pushed away to have room made for the next thing. All those celebrations and those commercials, those ads, those talking points, the merch, all of it. Eventually, you're gonna be nothing. Nothing. Remember back when the working man was the Democrat Party's primary concern? Not anymore. Not anymore. Now all those benefits go to illegal immigrants. You know, it's remember when they were the backbone of society, those hard-working men in the factories? Well, now it's not. Now, I think it's black transgender people are the backbone of our society, according to, I think it was Nancy Pelosi. Oh, these people, it's hysterical. It's absolutely hysterical. What's up, Brad? She walks it back within a week, I bet. We'll see. I hope she holds on. I hope she holds on. Their own base will censor them. Yeah, well, they're gonna try, and I think it's gonna piss them off even more. Andrew, I think that they will try to censor them and try to shut them down or cancel them, and that's just gonna spur them to get angrier. Just like J.K. Rowling. Twitter was canceled over dead naming Elliot Page, but then had Ellen Page trending on its sidebar. These people are they're idiots, man. I freaking love it. Self-censorship boggles the mind. It is a self-censorship is a curse that has been around for thousands of years because you don't want to be separated from the. You don't want to be a pariah to society. Many people don't. They're scared of being so. They're scared of having people hate them. They want to be popular. They want to be liked. They want to be accepted everywhere they go. So they say what they feel like they have to say in order to be accepted. That's just the way it is. Trans can say women without even defining it. LOL, you are correct. They don't have to define it. That's the thing. They don't have to define it. They can just say it, and it is. It's like they hold the reality stone from Thanos' gauntlet. Reality can be whatever I want. I still want to identify as an Apache helicopter just for a day. Real one would help, though. I would like the real one, yeah. Divide and conquer. A house divided cannot stand. These are the days I'm glad I'm not trendy. Dude, Mini Raptor, it's funny that you say that because I was like, man, if I was like 16 right now, you know, if I didn't grow up in the times that I grew up in the before time, in the long, long ago, back when Saturday morning cartoons were a thing and we were forced out of the house by our parents because they didn't want to deal with us. We didn't have helicopter parents. It's like, go ride your bike down a hill at 90 miles an hour and only bother me if you have a bone sticking out of you. If you crash, you crash. Get up, dust it off, put some dirt in it, and walk away. Be home when the lights come on. We didn't have cell phones. Be home when the lights come on. The street lamps. It was a simpler time before the internet. In the long, long ago. During the Sega Genesis era. It's all an illusion. Yeah, it's all theatrics. Life is but a stage. I self-identify as the world's first trillionaire. Oh, nice. I like that. I demand $1 trillion taxpayer dollars to achieve my true self. How dare you want to deny my right to live the life I choose? Don't debt finance me. Don't dead finance. Yeah, animal. Don't dead finance him. Bigots. You bigots. That was freaking great. Dead finance me. I'm going to use that. I'm stealing that, animal. I don't care what they call their flag anymore. They can remember for me, LOL, and if they say it wrong, on them. Exactly. I have a gay brother. He is thinking about going straight now. I was watching this her name is like something Russian, like Misha something. And she made an entire video about why she left the left, and I thought it was I'm gonna write an article about it here later. I've got it saved because I think it's very interesting. She was convinced for a long time that everyone was leftist with the exception of a few people because social media told her that through the algorithms and stuff. And she noticed over time that something was weird, something was wrong. No one was really talking to each other. They're just fighting. And she was the kind of person who was like, well, hang on, I don't have to hate you because of our differences, right? They were told that they did have to hate each other for their differences, their ideological, political differences, told that. And one day she kind of questioned it on social media and watched as her own friends like would private message her, send her texts, and like basically get onto her ass about it. Like, what are you, some sort of Trump supporter now? Like, whoa, all I said was that we should probably talk to each other, not hate each other. Like, it's very interesting. I'll have that article up here on Red State after this stream. But in any case, it's very interesting how people who were once very convinced they were one thing are now wholly in the other camp. And I've always said this about the LGBT community. I think that there truly are people out there who are gay and lesbian. I'm sure that there are people who actually have that body dysphoria thing, gender dysphoria, right? They actually suffer from that. But the mainstream culture has made it so popularized and such a sacred cow and so scary to defy that many people, especially in the young camps, who consider themselves gender fluid or trans or gay or bi and all this stuff, I honest to God think that they are following a trend. They're not actually gay. They're not actually bi. They're not actually transgender. This is just a trend that they follow. And I can remember this one story, and I wrote it not too long ago. A person who used to work at Planned Parenthood said, yeah, these like young girls, like groups of young girls would come into the clinic and they would request hormone therapy. And they would be acting and talking like they're just going to the mall to get their ears pierced. Like it's just a fun girl time outing. It's not really a thing. Like it's not as prevalent as the mainstream media wants to convince people, especially the young, that it is. It's just a lot of this just right now is a trendy thing to do that they're pushing on people. It's scary, man. What's up, Half Baked? How you doing, man? Sup, my fudges? I got a bag of Pride Doritos on July 1st for 75% off. The Reality Stone. The parables to Weimar Germany, though, are somewhat of a concern. I actually need to... I actually need to know more about Weimar Germany. I know about it, but I don't know enough about it to comment on it, and I feel ashamed for that. It's only 10 where you are. Before the dark times, before the empire. Go ride your bikes. Get out of here. Go play. God, I miss those days. I really do. I wanted to be able to do that with my kid, but I'm afraid that if I do, someone's going to call CPS on me. And they're going to take my kid away. You were letting them ride bikes by themselves? Yeah. I was helping them to develop independence and working social relationships outside of my control. It's healthy for a kid to not have to rely on an authority figure every single minute of the day. Also, it frees me up to do what I want to do. Be home before your torch goes out. That was back in the medieval ages. When I was 13, 14, I'd go off in the woods for 3 to 4 days by myself with a .22 rifle and a few sandwiches. My mom worried some, but the old man always told her he'll come home when he gets hungry. That's actually kind of, man, if I could change something about our culture right off the bat, it would be that. We've got a government that will take the phone calls of a Karen who sees kids playing. This is a true story. sees kids playing out in their front yard, their own front yard, without parental supervision, and they will call the police, they will call CPS to come and get these kids because they're being neglected. This is a true story. They came and they picked these kids up out of their own front yard. And then the parents had to fight to get their kids back because some Karen didn't like the fact that these kids were playing without parental supervision. I would go ballistic. They would have to take me to jail. Like you try to put my kid in that car, and guaranteed one of us is leaving in a way that they didn't arrive. Either I'm going in handcuffs or you're going in an ambulance, or both. And as soon as you're gone, I'm going to visit Karen next door because we're going to have a little chat. God, this time, you know, that is one of the most damaging things in my honest to God opinion. One of the most damaging things we do in our society right now is not give our kids the independence that is necessary to develop into a full-fledged adult. To go out and make mistakes, to be dangerous, to explore and to experiment with, you know, I'm not talking about drugs or sexual, you know, but like just anything. Like I can remember that, you know, my friends and we caught grasshoppers, you know, and we would have little grasshopper races. We used to go out and we would catch like bugs, June bugs, stuff like that, and we would find a spider web and throw the June bug into the spider web. You know, if my mom was there or some overly concerned parent, the moment I tried to pick up a June bug with my hand, oh my God, it's disgusting! Oh, put that down and slather your hands with this germ killer. It's annoying. Let kids go out there and find and build a very unsturdy ramp and let them do tricks off of it with their bikes. Let them try to put together a tire swing or throw a rope over a tree and see if they can't make a swing at it. We did. I can remember going to it was my cousin's house. And he has 2 kids. And the kids really wanted to show me what they had done with this rope that they had tied to a tree. And they had nailed like boards to the tree so they could climb up it and then get to the top of the tree with the rope and then swing down. And I remember thinking, oh my God, the parents just let them do that. My cousin just lets them do that. That is shocking. I wasn't like shocked that they were doing it, but I was just shocked that it even happened. I was like, today you just don't see this anymore. I was like, I want that for my kid. Dad, we got nails and a hammer and some boards. We're going to nail them to a tree. Have a good time. I'd tell you to be careful, but you're not going to. If you fall down and break your arm, we're going tomorrow to the hospital. I'm too tired for tonight. Some people believe ignorance is bliss or just stick their heads in the sand. I am not one of those, although more of us than them. They are just louder right now. Yeah, and a huge issue, they're louder and they do actually have government agencies where they have infiltrated there as well. And they will do what they can to push their nonsense on you, just like the CPS thing. I mean, like, you think anybody who is with common sense who was running a CPS, and when they heard Karen call it in, oh, they're playing outside by themselves without parental supervision. Do you think anybody with any common sense working at CPS would have been like, and? So? Are they shooting each other with actual guns or bashing in each other's heads with rocks? What do you want me to do about it? Instead, we have a CPS that goes, "We'll be over right away, ma'am. This is a tragedy. It's an atrocity." I've missed your beautiful face, Half Baked, even though I've never seen it. I just sent you a video on herd mentality to your DIMs. I'd consider linking the two, but wasn't sure if you'd want to make that comparison. I'll have to take a look at it. Well, you definitely were not bored at that age, Animal. Helicopter parents do not let kids stray beyond the hangar. Yeah, that's... Man, we used to go... We used to ride our bikes down... I lived in Pflugerville. I lived in Pflugerville, Texas. We used to ride our bikes from my house all the way down to the Dairy Queen, like over a mile away. And we were middle school kids at that point. We would ride our bikes down to the movie theater, which is even further. I mean, these people nowadays are just... I don't know. We used to have... Yeah, we had this beautiful hike and bike trail in Pflugerville, and it went on forever. And we would be on that thing constantly. I used to drink from the creek. I wasn't supposed to, but I used to drink from the creek when I got thirsty. Never made me sick. So I just kept doing it. Just don't make me swing. Just don't make the swing go around by a cliff. I've seen enough Warner Brothers cartoons. I jumped off the high dive around age 7. Yeah, I did the high dive. That was good fun. We did have rock fights back in the day. Oh, you did? See, wow, my mom never let us have rock fights. You're not missing much. Oh my god. One last thing. Maybe two, if I can fit it in. Nothing tastes better to a leftist than other leftists. This is the trans radical activists losing their shit because Mark Hamill liked Bette Midler's tweet. Bette Midler sent that tweet that I just told you about. Mark Hamill liked it. These people lost it. Mark Hamill, why did you like this tweet? This is a transphobic talking point. Hey Mark, I don't know if you know this, but you liked a transphobic tweet today that insists that using language like birthing people erases women when it's meant to include people like me, uterus owners who aren't women. I know you didn't mean it, Hart. These people are lunatics. So Mark Hamill liked Bette Midler's tweets? God's sake. Sorry, Quinn Brown. Quinn Brown looks like, she's fun. Fun. Or he. I don't know. Not gonna lie, if this isn't a mistake, I'm gonna be beyond crushed. Shocked and disappointed that the usually kind and decent Mark Hamill liked that awful Bette Midler tweet of the dumb idea that some groups using more inclusive language in some instances erases women, when we are in fact fighting for our very lives. This division and support of it hurts us all. Fighting for our very... See how these people just rely on absolute asininity, sensationalism, super drama. Also, it's not a transphobic talking point. Again, I want to remind everybody that transphobia is not actually a thing. The way that they're using the term phobia, it's not real. We've talked about this before. Phobia is a thing that triggers your fight or flight within your brain. All right, it makes you either get really violent or very terrified. Either way, it kicks up your adrenaline very fast, very quickly. Is what a phobia does. I've never seen one person in my entire life or on video suddenly get it's like so scared that they were next to a transgender person that they left screaming out of wherever they were. Not once. But it's very interesting that Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, simply liked to tweet. Simply liked to tweet. And this was the response. These people are willing to go to war with their own for simply liking a tweet. They are pushing too hard on their own, and there's going to come a point where their own starts to push back. I think you're starting to see it already. It started with J.K. Rowling. But over time, you're going to see more and more people who do not want to be erased. And rest assured, Democrats, whoever you are, whatever identity you identify with, you're next. The time is coming for you. You will be erased by the very people that you are trying to support right now. They are pushing you out. You're next. You fed the beast. You fed the beast. And now it is eating you alive. This is a civil war of the Democrats, between Democrats, but Democrats made it. This is what happens whenever you empower idiots. Whenever you push idiocy. Whenever you just push blind fear over logic and education. These people literally believe that they are going to die if they lose this fight. They're not going to die. They're not going to die. But they've been led to believe that they will. They've been led to believe that they will by the very people they're now turning on. It's hysterical. The Democrat Civil War is going to be one of my all-time favorite moments in history. I can't wait for this to kick into high gear. That's a TMC Finch joke. Oh, okay. It took me a second. Would sit outside until endings at the theater too. You would? That's nasty. That's nasty, Chai. I could tell a story about a rotten egg fight this one time. See, that's the good stuff right there. That's what you it's messy, it's smelly, you know? I like that line. I'm stealing that. Nothing tastes better to a leftist than another leftist. It's true. There is something that they here's why I think that this is a thing. Right? The eating each other alive thing is so popular for leftists. Whenever you have a culture where you are more powerful, the more victimized you actually are. Right? You are in competition against other leftists who are trying to self-victimize as well. You have to be more of a victim than the other guy. Right? So whenever you defeat another leftist, that's another person trying to compete for the attention that you deserve, for the power that you deserve, because you're the victim. And you've got a lot of people right now who are trying to find ways to victimize themselves. Like, if you're, let's say you're a white man, you are at the lowest part of the totem pole. If you're a white man, what if you turn gay? Well, you climb a little bit further. Oh, but hang on. What if you go trans? Ooh, now you're white and you're a man, but damn, now you're high up on the totem pole. But what if you don't consider yourself gay anymore? Oh, that secures it even more. Now you're a transgender woman, technically, who is now gay because you want women. By the way, that puts you above lesbians. So now, like, you started at the bottom, now we here. Okay? Now you're at the top. Oh, but it gets even better. Because you can add little things, right? Now you're a birthing person, right? You're a woman. You're a woman, but you don't have a uterus, okay? Okay? But you can still give birth. It makes no sense. But hey, you know what? The fact that people are telling you that you can't, the fact that you're hearing from people like you that they can't, that they don't have a uterus, that they're not actually a woman, that's more victimization points. That's like, it's so good that you're doing that for them. You're doing them a favor. But you can also have more stuff. I'm the survivor of a sexual assault. Were you the survivor of a sexual assault? Probably not. You're probably over-exaggerating something that happened to you one time. Whether it's like, you were in a locker room with other dudes and someone hit you with a towel in the ass. You'll take that and you're like, oh, I was sexually assaulted. So now you're a survivor of sexual assault. I have multiple personality disorder as well. Oh, that's more victim points for you. And you just add and you add and you add. And suddenly you were at the bottom of the totem pole. Now you're at the top. And anybody who tries to get in your way on the left in terms of telling you that you're not as victimized as them. You just add more reasons that you are a victim and to out victimize them and to try to cancel the other person for saying that you yourself are not a victim. See how this works? It's a really disgusting and to my eyes, boring game. It forces you to think not highly of yourself at all. It forces you to technically think that you are a useless, weak, self-defeating person. Forces you to do that to yourself in order to be accepted. It's a weird time. It's a weird ideology. Weird stuff, man. Trans kind of triggers my gag reflex. I've met a lot of trans people in person, and every single one of them has been absolutely lovely. I have not met a trans person yet that I hate. I'm sure at some point in time I will, but it won't be because they're trans. It'll be because they're an asshole. It'll be because they're a bad person. That's why. That's why. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're gay or you're bi. I don't care. I don't. You can identify as a cell phone, a wallet, an empty coffee cup. I don't care. You can identify however you want to. But if you're a good person, we can be friends. We can be friends. I don't care what you identify as. If you're an asshole, if you're a bad person, if you're literally just out to control people, if you're literally just out to shame people or cancel people because you have some false sense of victimhood, then we're enemies. That's bottom line, we're enemies. And you're eventually going to lose the battle. Period. Leftist autophagia is pretty darn funny. Thanks, Animal. Learned a new word today. Good one. Autophagia. Okay. I've heard that word before, but I can't. Should I Google this? Should I Google this like in front of you? Hang on. Let's just do this first. Okay. Autophagia refers to the practice of biting and consuming one's body. It is a subcategory of self-injurious behavior. Commonly, it manifests in humans as nail biting or hair pulling. In rare circumstances, it manifests as serious self-mutilative behaviors such as biting one's finger. Ugh! So autophagia is actually pretty common, but I guess the more extreme version of it is like eating yourself alive. That's scary. That's scary. You can hear Remy. Yeah, the wife just got home. Thanks, new headphones. Hey, what's up, Mentats? How you doing, man? They have all the infighting and power struggles of the Sith. If only they had like the 2 rule, you know, like there can only be 2 at one time. A master and an apprentice, and they can just kill each other. In Grand Theft Auto. YouTube. And Grand Theft Auto. I was talking about Grand Theft Auto. Well, the media has to hate someone. Damien LL might as well be us. Man, I can't wait till this whole entire... I think that we're truly turning a corner now. I really do. And we're going to start retaking the media. And I can't wait to see what happens after that. I honestly can't. But why us? Easiest target, stereotypical oppressor, I guess, man. Because they have to have... Yeah, they have to have a bad guy. They have to have a boogeyman. And the white man has... He's just the easiest target at this point in time. You can attribute anything to the white man that is evil, despite the fact that white men have done a lot of good throughout history. A lot of good. More good than evil, for sure. But you don't need to focus on that. The narrative does not require you to balance your narrative out. It requires you to sensationalize and to make everything theatrical and dramatic. So now you're a white evil man. No matter what you've done in your past, you could literally have rebuilt a black community with your own personal money and time and sweat. All right, and not that you could have had the hammer in your hand doing it yourself, but you are still a privileged, evil white man who only did it because he's trying to absolve himself of a former sin. They're going to look into your past and they're going to find something, and they're going to drag it into the light and make it look like you have been this evil all along. It's probably a tweet from 7 years ago. But the cool, the cool thing about it is that, if you are evil, or they can make you look evil, that means that they can make other people stand against you for your evilness. And those people are easier, the people who are relying on hate or fear, are easier to control and to get them to vote in the way that you want them to support the legislation that you want them to. It's pretty insidious when you think about it, but that's just the way it is. It's political manipulation at its best. Divide and conquer. Yeah. Under any means necessary. I hear you. Yeah. Under any means necessary. I identify as a cute, cuddly opossum. Have y'all ever seen a possum that is like not in the wild but has been taken care of by humans, given baths and stuff? They're cute, man. They're stupid cute. Cuddly does not come to mind. Bigot! Alright, I will give you cute. Thanks, you're still Dan. John, I will see you later. Actually, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. Y'all are the best. Love the chat. Love the conversation. Thank you for the follows, for the subs. Really appreciate it. Be sure to be here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern to catch us live. Go to redstate.com. Sign up for the VIP program. Use promo code Morse, MRSE. Follow me at the Brandon Morse. My DMs are open. If you want me to talk about something, by all means, shoot me something. We'll talk about it. In the meantime, guys, you have a good rest of your week. This much shorter week. If you didn't work on Monday, which I did not, sorry for the lack of the RSL on Monday. But your boy got to take a break at some point. He was drinking beer, watching fireworks, and eating barbecue. In the meantime, guys, I'll see you on the pages. Peace.